Hey, sports fans, good evening. We are live from Peadens. Give them a shout out, crowd. Woo, that's right. We are live from Peadens here on a Wednesday night. What better night to come out to Peadens than a Wednesday? Y'all don't have to quit talking just because I'm on TV. I mean, y'all keep going here. This is live TV. Hey, it's the inaugural Pine Forest Trojans Coaches Show, and we are brought to you tonight by New Again Carpet Cleaning. Jeff was here earlier, man. I want to give him a big shout out. Thank him for coming on board as one of our sponsors, along with Pro Cable, along with Bridgemark Inc. Mark was here earlier helping us get all set up. I couldn't do it. I look good in front of the camera and I talk well. But all that stuff that goes on behind the camera, I don't know about. But we got a big crowd here. So, hey, if you're over here in the area off Andrews Road, where are we on? MacArthur Road right here. Honeycutt, we're at the Triangle. Honeycutt, MacArthur, and Andrews right here. Come on out to Peadens. They've been here since 1972. Great food. Have some seafood tonight. Jimmy's, I tried to talk him into half-price scallops, but that didn't go very far. But you come on out, get some shrimp, get some devil crabs, some fish. The hush puppies are to die for. We've already been through a couple of baskets. You know how good the sweet tea is here. So lots of good things going on here at Peadens tonight. But we're just excited to be able to bring you Pine Forest Trojan athletics. What's going on the north side of town? So how's this going to work? So we're gonna be bouncing back and forth. We're going to have Jimmy Peeden III is going to come up here in just a minute. We're going to talk about he's the new basketball coach here. He's got a fundraiser coming up. We're going to talk about that fundraiser. Then we're going to have the head football coach, Bill Sachoka. We're going to come on and talk about where the Trojans are because they are 3-0. Yeah! They are 3-0 with a big game coming up against Grays Creek. So we're going to talk about how the Trojans got to 3-0, what the aspects are for the team, what the outlook is, and we're going to talk about the Grays Creek game coming up this Friday night, Harold K. Warren Stadium. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock, so get there early. It's going to be a packed house as the Trojans go for that fourth win. And then pretty much, folks, this is going to be more David Letterman than 60 Minutes. So if you're calling looking for some kind of documentary, if you're looking for some expose, some hard-hitting questions, you have tuned into the wrong channel because that will not be here tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to ask some questions that Bill probably is not prepared for. He said the audience could not ask questions, but he didn't tell me what was off limits for me.
You might take a timeout.
Timeout. He's already calling for the TO, baby. The referee didn't see it. So that's kind of what's going to happen. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about Pine Forest athletics. We'll have Principal David Colworth will be on probably next week. Jason Norton will be on. Then we're going to be rotating some of the coaches in. The volleyball coach, cross country, boys soccer is in right now. And then I'm missing something, volleyball. The volleyball coach, did I say volleyball? So we're going to have those coaches running in because we want to know what's going on the north side of town. If you're watching tonight, you're obviously a lover of Pine Forest athletics or of me. Thank you. But we want you to know because these kids need your help. This show is a fundraiser. It's not like a Jerry Lewis telethon. There's not going to be any numbers to back up here behind me as we're raising money. But if you want to, go ahead and we'll put them in the helmet right here. But we do want to raise some money for Pine Forest Athletics to help the kids. If you've got a kid in school, then you know how tough it is in the school systems right now through no fault of their own. But we want to do what we can to make sure that the kids at Pine Forest have everything they need to compete at the highest level, not only today and tomorrow, but for years to come. So, with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, come back. Jimmy Peeden III is going to be here. We're going to talk Pine Forest basketball. We're going to talk his fundraiser. It's going to be a big night here. We're here at Peedens on MacArthur Road, so you need to come on down. We'll be right back. Talk about that. Phil, we'll put you in the middle.
I can't hold that mic.
Yeah, you can.
Hey, Wendy. Take my mic. Nice.
All right, so go ahead and post them.
It's already on good.
It's already on. Somebody's already watching.
Good.
Peadens 19. Hey, all right, we're back here at Peadens for the inaugural Trojan Coaches Show. I'm Billy Mack. I'll be your host each and every week. Every Wednesday night, we'll be right here at Peadens, 1600 MacArthur Road. So come on out, enjoy some shrimp with us, get some scallops, deviled crab, seafood, fried chicken. Man, I had the fried chicken. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jimmy Peeden III right here, the namesake, the grandson of the founder of Peadens. But, man, the fried chicken I had was great in here on last Friday night when I wasn't working because of the rain.
Yeah, they've put it in the restaurant, and it's always been a hit on the catering job. So it's doing well in the restaurant. So.
We do have Jimmy Peeden. Jimmy was named head basketball coach for the Trojans back in the spring, man, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We have a round of applause for the new basketball coach. We got a plethora, a potpourri, house full of people in here. So man, tell me, are you excited? What are your apprehensions about being the man? I mean, you've been an assistant for a while. You've been the JV coach. Hold it down just a little bit. You've been the number 2. Now you're the number 1.
Real excited, man. Just blessed to have the opportunity to coach where I graduated from and coach the sport I love, and just excited to get going. Excited about the team. Got a bunch of returners coming back, so healthy, we'll be competitive, and just ready to get going.
Coaching at your alma mater, is that a burden on your back, or does that put joy in your step?
Oh, that's joy. Pure joy, man. I couldn't see myself anywhere else, so it just worked out perfect.
Well, that's awesome. So tell us, you said you got some returners coming back. Tell us about who your big stud's going to be. Who's going to be the leader for the Trojans men's basketball team?
Well, we've got several. We've got Julian Hill that we're going to get back this year, who had a knee injury last year. Got Xavier and Xavier Williams returning for us. Got a couple sophomores that played big minutes last year for us, Richard McEachern and Jordan Gladden, who actually played JV last year, but we're expecting some big things out of him. And a couple pieces here and there, new pieces that might surprise us. So it's going to be good things for Trojan basketball this year.
Well, that's good. Well, you live in an area where we're close to the military base, so there's always an influx of people. So you've got just as good a shot as having somebody good leave as having somebody show up that you've never seen before.
Exactly. And one more I forget to mention, Joel Jones. He's a big part of the puzzle, and he's been with us all summer. So with him kind of holding down the fort, we'll be solid.
That's great. Now, who's last year the Mid-South Conference? Who's at the top of that heap, and how close are you to grabbing them and putting yourself on the mountaintop?
It's going to be a tight race. Of course, 71st is always up there. Jack Britt's such a well-coached team. I can see us up there fighting, though. Jack Britt's 71st, us. Overhill's got some people back, so it's going to be a tight race. It'll be close, but we can, like I say, healthy, we'll be able to compete.
Well, that's great. Now, coming up, when's the season kick off? When's your first game?
First game's November 18th, home against Douglasburg.
All right, they're usually pretty good. I've always had some athletes over there.
Yes,
but
sir.
Before the season kicks off, you're having a big fundraiser right here at Peadens, 1600 MacArthur Road. Tell us about that and how everybody can get involved.
Well, it's our first annual barbecue fundraiser for the boys basketball team program, actually. So
who's going to cater it?
Right here where you're sitting, man. I think I'd get in trouble if anybody else was working that. But, yeah, it's going to be November 10th at 6:30 in the party room, which is the building behind the main restaurant. It's going to be $25 a couple, $15 a single. All proceeds will go to the boys basketball program. You'll meet the varsity players and coaches, the JV players and coaches, and just give a chance for them to kind of meet the community and the community to meet them, and just get as much backing as we can behind the program and get it off to the right start.
So that's going to be November 10th. What time does it start?
6:30.
6:30 right here. Can they pre-order?
Yes, they would just, if they're interested in going, of course, it's on Facebook. They can do it that way, or they can call the restaurant and talk to my dad or Mary or Ricky, and they'll write them in the book, and they'll be good to go that way as well.
All right, so it's $25 a couple, and what will they get for their $25 donation to the Pine Forest basketball program?
The menu, it will be the barbecue and the fried chicken that you spoke about, potato salad.
We might need a sample now so we can talk about how good it is.
It'll be potato salad, coleslaw, baked beans, tea, lemonade, the whole works. So.
So I think you've probably spent a night or two in the kitchen, hadn't you?
Yeah, I've done that several times. It can get hot in there.
What's the worst part about working? The best part about working in the kitchen? Not going to talk about the best worst. What's the best part about working in the kitchen?
People you're working with. They make it fun back there. You spend a lot of time here, so you got to keep it. You got to keep it fun, or you'll go crazy. So I say the people you work with.
You know, there's even a picture up there by the front counter of my wife when she was a waitress here. I think I don't know. It might have been black and white film. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's not going to be good.
She's not here. Sorry, honey. But no, when she was a waitress here, so back in the late 80s, early 90s. So, I mean, it's always been a place where Pine Forest kids can come and work and be a part of the community because it's such a big community up here on the north side of town.
Yes, sir, it is. It is. And I just appreciate all the support I've received when I was announced as the head coach, and just really excited to get going. Like I said, I couldn't ask to be on a better side of town. I was growing up here, graduating from there. It just couldn't have worked out any better. So.
That's cool. Now, we were talking earlier about what this room used to look like years ago when the tables were running this way and you sat almost camp style.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you might not know who you was sitting beside.
No.
You had to really belly into that picnic table. It was almost like a picnic table.
Well, if the food's good enough, you're not going to look up too much. So
no.
Time you don't know who you sit next to. But yeah, I remember that. Before we had the little fire, it was wall-to-wall chairs back here. So.
And that was cool. We, right here in this room, probably 30 years ago. No, it's probably longer. Probably going on 40 years now. I found out what a 500-pound canary says. Do you know what a 500-pound canary says?
I think, but I'm gonna let you say it.
Charge! That's what a 500-pound canary says. So, as my late brother-in-law. My late brother-in-law told that joke, and wall-to-wall people in here on a Friday or a Saturday night, and lady behind us goes, "Man, what the heck was that?" You know, and we're just sitting there. We just kept eating. But we've been coming here for a long time. So, man, tell us again one more time about the fundraiser, the date, the time, how much, and then what the proceeds are going to go for.
So it'll be November 10th, 6:30 in the party room. $25 a couple, $15 a single. All the proceeds will go to the boys basketball program for shoes, for warm-ups, for equipment, anything to better the program. So if you could come out, we'd greatly appreciate it. All the support we can get is greatly needed.
All right, there you go, folks. November the 10th right here. First game is on the 18th.
18th against Bird.
Is that at home?
Yes, sir.
What's the who's your biggest rival? What's going to be the big game coming up?
Well, the biggest rival will probably be back in the conference next year with the Terry Sanford Bulldogs. But as of right now, I'd say Smith. Smith's always a good one. So that'd be a good one to come out and watch. E. Smith.
All right, there you go. Pine Forest basketball. You wanted to know about it? There we go. We've got Jimmy Peadens III here, just announced as the basketball coach, getting ready to start his first season. Big fundraiser on November the 10th right here at Peadens, back in the party room. $25 a couple, $15 a single, barbecue chicken, coleslaw, all the fixings. You know how good the food is here at Peadens, so come on out, support Pine Forest basketball, and help the Trojan athletic department, again, compete at the highest level each and every time they get on the court. So, Jimmy, thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
We're going to take another break, come back. Well, maybe he's not ordering. Okay, I thought that we're going to have head coach Bill Sachoka come on. We're going to talk about that 3-0 Trojans football team, talk about the three games they've won, go for the looking for the fourth this week, and then talk about some things that are upcoming. Hey, you're watching the Pine Forest Coaches Show right here on Pack Power Media. We'll be right back.
Thank you, sir.
Make you look like a superstar,
Thank you, man. I gotta go change shirts. I'm all sweaty.
Next time we'll have you back on again. We'll make it.
What's up, bud?
Camera way,
Florida Gator one.
Where do you go to watch?
It's on YouTube on the Pack
Power Media?
Yeah, so you can watch live or tape.
That's cool, man. We're gonna get this thing going. We're gonna get it out. We're gonna be out in Carter for long.
If he wants to get like David, Tom Kirk.
Those mics are hot. Just so you know.
Sign language. I'll go over here.
6:30, just so that people tuning in, they know that we're live. And then when they get up there, I mean, it's just us. I can tell if I happen to call this on YouTube, I'll be able to tell you after the fact. We're recording, and that's when we've been recording for 17 minutes and 40 seconds. Yes, we'll be able to post it on the Facebook page, tag in, tag other people, they can share it.
Yeah, see, that's funny. All my years coaching and head coach assistant, I've never been able to take any of our games because what we was we said archives. It just that's the next how big you could be like. Yeah, I got kids called back. Nelson, because they are kind of those kids now. On the radio, but nobody archives it. That's
Jason, David told me. Oh, Richard. Because that was the argument 100 years ago. Was that radio kills a So I mean, we're gonna. Just so you know.
Let's go to Pack Power Meeting.
Ronald Dowdy is a Pine Forest graduate and a University of Florida graduate. He got a scholarship at Spurs. He was the first one after '99.
He's going to be helping me this year.
Now he's going to play offensive tackle.
Hey, and we're back here at Peadens Live. You can hear everybody eating. Lots of conversation going on here in the big room at Peadens, man, with the inaugural Pine Forest Trojans Coaches Show. Man, we're just having a large time. Man, y'all come on in. You're not going to bother us. Have a seat. Order some shrimp and just throw a couple up here to the feed the host. There's no sign up here that says do not feed the host. So you can feed the host. There's no sign up here that says that. As you can tell, I have not missed too many meals. Yeah. So now, well, you've all been waiting for head coach of the Pine Forest Trojans, the 3-0 Pine Forest Trojans. Give it up for Bill Sachoka. Coach, congratulations, man. You're 3-0.
Thanks. It's been a nice season so far. We started off a little bit rocky, but great bunch of kids. They have a lot of heart and determination. Even when we had won against Purnell Sweat, when we came off the field, you could tell by their demeanor and the look of their eyes, they weren't happy with the win, and they knew they could do better. And a lot of great leadership. Probably the first time in a long time that this group of kids are playing like a family.
And that's great. I mean, we talked with Jimmy when Jimmy was up here just a minute ago, talking about the Northside family, and you really preach camaraderie and loving everybody, man. And that's what I've always looked up to you about. I've been, covering you for 10 years now, and no matter what happens on the field, you're going to put your arm around the kid and you're going to tell him you love him, even if he just messed up and cost you the game. It's really secondary to the life lessons he's learning.
Well, one thing I think we try to do at the football level and at the high school level is these kids are kids, and we want to mentor them to become great men. Whether they go to college to play football or go in the military, we just want them to be able to say they've had an experience where they could go and teach their kids the right way to do things. If they get a scholarship and they go to the next level, that's just icing on our cake. We just want them to be productive citizens when they graduate from Pine Forest High School.
And that's great. So you talked about the win at Purnell Sweat, the usual weather delay for the first game of the season here in Cumberland County. I can't remember the last time we didn't do a game that wasn't rained or lightninged, and this one was both. We were at Southview, but we never had any rain. It was just lightning. But you won against Purnell Sweat, kind of ugly. But then you came back and talk about the difference between week 1 and week 2 and how much your team gains going there, because it's the first game of the season. Yeah, you've scrimmaged, you've done that, but it's real-time action, the speed of the game. But you went from 11-8 to 49-7 on the road at Lumberton, and that was a big win for the program.
Well, I think a big part of it was, in the last couple of years, I had a lot of transition with my staff, and this is the second year where we've had a complete staff together. And when you have that second year, we're all on the same page, we all have the same goals. And just like the kids, we knew we weren't happy with that win. We knew that we were capable of doing much better. So just like the kids, as a staff, we sat down, breaking film down, and putting our kids in the best position, working harder. I always say that you have to work harder after the win before, because everybody's trying to knock you off. And that just kind of helped us, and the kids saw that. We had really good practices on Monday, and that was a big difference. As a coaching staff, we got together and said we also have to up our game if the kids are going to up their game as well.
So you go on the road to Lumberton. Julian just has a monster game. You put 49 points on the board. Lumberton had just gone up to Hunt and won, so they had one on the road. They think they've got big things going down in L-Town. You guys come in and hang 49 on them. Just a big win for the program. And it's got to be nice to see Julian back in the pocket.
Yeah, and a big part of that is that Coach Terry Wickham, my offensive coordinator, sat down with Julian, and we saw in the first game he was just holding on to the ball a little bit too long. And we knew that they were going to pressure us, and two of the touchdown passes that Julian had thrown, he actually audible out of it because of what he saw open. And they were giving us the short game, and with Levante Carter and all of our wide receivers, they made it pretty easy. Plus, our defense was playing phenomenal. Lumberton has a very athletic quarterback. We were worried about that. And I think their total defense between run and pass was a total of 114 yards. Because our kickoff team didn't do a great job. They were giving them half the field, and we were able to stop them several times.
So that's great, man. You talk about stopping them. Your defense has been lights out, and I know that's the proud papa coming out in you when you look at Matthew Sochoka, 36 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and he's getting looks from all over the place. I know you guys did some campus tours over the summer, man. Tell us about Matthew's progression from wild-haired sophomore, floppy-haired sophomore to stud senior.
Well, I'm not allowed to coach him. That's the first thing. I don't coach.
Who coaches him? Is that Sheila? Does Sheila do all the coaching over there? Sheila does the coaching?
No, actually, the defensive staff, Ricky O'Brien, Gabe Evans, who is a Pine Forest alumni, handle our D-line. Those guys do a tremendous job at teaching him the proper techniques. Yeah, we're proud of him. The biggest part about getting recruited is all about grades, so he had that set. And he's got options, and it's kind of nice to have right now. You kind of get in a situation being a head coach and a parent, you have to be humble. You can't be too proud, but we are proud of him.
And sometimes you got to take off the coach hat and put the papa hat on, and then within the same conversation, you got to take the papa hat off and put the coach hat on, and you obviously are balancing that very well.
And so is my wife.
That's great. But, Matthew's not the only guy that's been really performing for you guys this year. So far this year, you got Carson Cole, Dominic Roberto. I mean, it seems like the seniors on this defense who have been through a couple of down years and a couple of injury-filled years have really stepped up the plate and said this is going to be our year.
We talk about a lot of our defensive personnel. Our secondary is very senior-led with Nate Graham, Will Sturtevant, Bryce Dickerson, and the DBs really have stepped up. But we talk about Carson Cole. He's a unique kid, smart kid. I try to tell him a joke every day just to loosen him up. He's a little serious. But when you look at him and you see the type of football player, tough as nose, he's a great leader on and off the field, and that helps our defense a lot. We're really actually young on the defensive line. Matthew's really the only returning starter coming back. But we were blessed to get from Guam Cameron Galloway, who played with us as a ninth grader. He's 6'4", 265, Cameron. So he came back and
Is he a French fry short of a Happy Meal?
a little bit. And it was funny because all the girls liked him because of his unique accent.
I've had that problem too. But I mean the defense has really been just phenomenal. 15 tackles for loss, 21 sacks already, 3 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. I mean that's pretty good.
Well, we pride ourselves on defense, and we knew that we had to play fast. We're very quick across the board. We have a couple guys, Dominic Roberto, Nate Graham, Bryce Dickerson, Will Sturdivant, who could legitimately run 4.5 40s, and that helps. Speed kills. And then we knew up front with our big boys, if we could keep them off our linebackers, we'd be successful. And we like that. And everybody looks at our offense, at the output, but when you only give up 6 points in 1 week, 7 points another week, and then this past week, we think we had 1 touchdown that was set up by a special teams. We played pretty tough.
You talk about that, the 26-28 come-from-behind win against Williamson-Hogger. And that was really a toe-to-toe match between 2 heavyweights because they scored, you scored. They scored, you scored. They scored, you scored. They scored, you scored with 3:37 left to go as Willis Anthony on a 47-yard touchdown scamper. There was an article today in the Fayetteville Observer talking about the come-from-behind wins, and you guys weren't mentioned. So, Jacqueline, I'm not sure what happened, but that was the best game of the week right there, and nobody was there. Who would agree that was a big game?
The only thing I could do to that comment is drink my lemonade right now. But yes, and the good thing that people don't realize about Willis Anthony, he was not able to play against Hoggard because he had broken his collarbone against Lumberton diving in the end zone. We lost him for the year. So he had a little chip on his shoulder. He wanted to prove people, and he had a great run. When we got the ball back, you could see in our offense eyes that they knew they were scored. There was never a doubt. And that's the type of confidence these kids have together as a group of kids. The tenacity, there's no fear in them. They believe they could beat anybody, and they'll work hard to that point to do that.
So, man, you guys have been doing a great job coaching him up. As they say in the blind, we're going to coach him up. We're going to help him get to where he needs to be. But we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the offense. We're going to talk about Julian and Willis and Levante and Jordan and Rodell Robinson, and then we're going to preview the game coming up this Friday at Harold K. Warren Stadium against the Grays Creek Bears. That's going to be a tough matchup as David Lovett and the Bears bring in that wing T offense that's produced 10,000 yard rushers in the last 15 years. So it's kind of like plug and play over there at Grays Creek. But folks, stick around. We're here at Peadens. It's the Pine Forest Coaches Show where you have Bill Sochoka. Don't go anywhere. You never know what's going to come out of either one of our mouths because we're cousins and we're like that. But we're having fun over here, and we want you to come here next week. So hang out. We're going to take a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back here from Peadens on MacArthur Road. Hey, folks, we're back here at Peadens for the inaugural. Sorry, Sheila. We're all live here, so there's a lot of stuff going on here back in the party room at Peadens. But we're here, Pine Forest coach Bill Sochoka. Bill, we talked in the last segment about your defense, about your couple of wins, but it's really been propelled by your offense. And it seems like Julian Hill coming back from his injury last year has really been good for y'all. You know, he's so far the junior is 27 for 40, 670 yards, 6 touchdown passes. He's averaging 25 yards of completion. That sets up a lot of things for your offense to be able to do when he's got time to throw the ball and able to hit those receivers.
Yeah, it does. And again, we go back last year, and I don't want to dwell on it, but Willis Anthony, we would lose in week 2. Levante Carter, we lose against Grays Creek, and I think 3 weeks later we lose Willis Anthony. We lost 7 starters off of last year's team to season-ending injuries. Now, the good thing was that majority of those guys were coming back this year. And we knew with those players that we had the potential of having a very potent offense. You talked about the passing game. It opened up the run game. Even against Hoggard, they were trying to stop our passing. They were able to cut inside, and that's why Willis Anthony had a big night based upon what they saw, how we did against Lumberton the week before.
Yeah, you talk about Willis last week, 3 touchdowns, 148 yards, including the 47-yard game winner. And I think probably for the first time in a while, you're averaging more through the air than you are on the ground, which I know for you as being a Dean Sappho's disciple is probably kind of hard.
I don't care how we score as long as we score. You know, I'm not hung up on the fact that you have to, 3 clouds and dust. We used to have an old offensive line coach that his idea of a pass was toss sweep, and in fact, he didn't like to work on pass blocking. And that's why Patrick Peatney got sacked a lot. But my point being
explains a lot
yeah.
for Patrick.
But my point being is we have a lot of tools on the offensive side of the ball, and we're not afraid to use them. We make good halftime adjustments. In fact, we'll go ask the kids, what do you got? What can we work on? And that's where you learn from your kids what could work, and it builds confidence into them. They'll tell you, hey, we got the slant, we could run the ball, and that's we do it.
Yeah, and you've been able to run the ball. Willis is averaging 100 yards a game. Levante Carter's averaging 4.6 yards per carry. And the guys on the outside are making it happen, too. When you look at Levante Carter, Jordan, and Riddell, they're making big plays, and he's throwing some touchdown passes. So that really makes it possible for you guys to really do some creative things offensively that you haven't been able to do in the past.
Yeah, and Riddell Robinson and Jordan really stepped up. After the Purnell Sweat game, we've challenged both of them. Jordan's a sophomore. I know Coach Peter mentioned him as being one of his basketball players, and Riddell Robinson's a junior. And Riddell made some great catches against Hoggard across the middle. It set up some big-time scoring on us. And he's a smart football player. I think he had 1 or 2 situations where he was able to get a pass interference off of their defense that helped set up some of our scoring drives. But they're maturing, and that's what we talked about as a staff and even as a program, that we got to get better every week because other teams are getting better every week.
So you talk about a team that needs to get better, and hopefully it's not this week, and that's Grays Creek. They came in 1-2. They had a big game against St. Paul's in week 1. I believe Ernest King was on the end of that 56-7 win, but then they came up short against Southview. They came up short against Cape Fear. So they bring that wing T Russian attack into Harold K. Warren Stadium Friday night. How difficult is that? They lost Leland McDonald and Calvin Boyd, over 4,000 yards of offense gone from last season just from those 2 guys. But then they've got this kid who's coming in, Leonard Beckett, who's averaging 100 yards a game.
Well, last year we had them beat, with the exception of the last 22 seconds of the game. And there's a bad taste in our kids' mouth. That was one that got away from us at the end. And there's a revenge factor in our mind against Grays Creek. Coach Lovett's one heck of a coach. That's why he's coaching the Shrine Bowl. He makes really a good adjustment. I hate playing a wing T team because the most difficult team that you could prepare for. If you don't run their offense, you're never going to get that quick speed. So we do a lot of teaching, a lot of simulation, so to speak, and just try to get as best as we can. And the big thing about their defense or their offense is trying not to give up that big play. You want to get them in 2nd down and long, 3rd down and long, and force them to pass. And that's something they're not comfortable doing, and that's pretty much our game plan.
So from the defensive side of the ball, are you looking for keys? Are you keying off a running back? Are you keying off a guard, looking at his spacing between him and the center as to where they might go? Or, because it's a lot of misdirection and deception.
Well, the big thing with that is you don't want to over-penetrate on the defense line because their backs are taught to find a hole. So what you think to be my bad.
Somebody's phoning a friend now. We were going to poll the audience later. Because we were going to ask him something that he didn't know.
It's the other radio station.
Did you? Oh, here, let's talk to Bill. Let's talk to Bill. Hold on.
It's the other radio station calling me. Sorry.
We'll talk to Bill. Bill Boyette trying to do his coach's show. Sorry, Bill. Well, you watch us, you'll get all your answers. I'm already asking all the questions. But you were saying their backs are looking for holes.
Yeah,
and they're elusive.
They want to cause a lot of havoc and give their backs the ability to get a field pretty quickly. So basically, you want to contain them and not give them that advantage to where they could get open pretty quick. It's like I said, it's a difficult offense to prepare for, but once you stop it, they have a real difficult time adjusting out of it. And their plan B usually isn't as effective. That's why they'll keep running that until they find something.
Like Herman Boone said, and Remember the Titans, it's like Novocaine is slow, but it's effective.
Exactly.
So you look at their defense, they've kind of been taken to the woodshed in the last couple of weeks. They're giving up 30 points per game. But you guys are going to do what you're going to do and do well and force them to stop you and make you do something else.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's great to be in that position on the offensive side of the ball where we could do what we do well, and they have to prepare for us. Instead of last year, because of our injuries, we were just trying to figure out how we could get our best players in a position to score. God bless Terry Wickham last year, first-year offensive coordinator. With the injuries, he was actually kind of dialing up what offense we were going to run every week because we were losing a kid here, losing a kid there. I think by the end of the year, I think we're down to our fifth-string quarterback.
I mean, you even asked me if I wanted to suit up, and I didn't have a semester left. I thought I had a semester left.
Up from the dream.
And that's when I woke up from the dream. Hey, I was a stud at E. Smith back in the day. You talk about the wing T offense that they're going to run. Which group on the defensive side of the ball, the linebackers, the DBs, has to have a big night in order to keep that ground game under control?
The front seven, the defensive line and the linebackers can't over pursuit. We can't get caught looking in the backfield and just play our gaps and be effective. And when we attack the ball, 11 hats attacking the ball because they have good runners. You can't arm tackle them. They keep their legs going. A couple times on tape when we thought they were down on tape, they were breaking, still running the ball. So just flying around, using our speed. Like I told you, we had some pretty fast kids on our defense as a countermeasure to their speed.
You talked about flying around the ball. You've got 6 kids that already have 20 tackles in just 3 games. So even with my simple math, that's about 7 tackles per game. That's 42 right there. And you've been playing a lot of kids. So who's the guy on the defensive side of the ball that stepped up the most that surprised you?
I think the big surprise that we were, well, it wasn't a surprise, but he panned out like we thought he would be, was Dominic Roberto. He was a transfer kid that came in from Virginia. He was actually at Pine Forest Middle School as an 8th grader, and we heard good things about him. He's also a heck of a running back, and he's really stepped up on the linebacker side. As I mentioned, Cameron Galloway's really stepping up. Was a blessing for him to come. And we have some young kids. We have 2 sophomores that we pulled up who are getting a lot of playing time in the D-line. Another junior, Malik Daniels, really he's a sophomore because he didn't play last year as a freshman. So we really have a very young defensive line that's really, really stepping up and they're getting better, which is good for us for the years to come.
What do you have to do well to win Friday night?
We have to play really good defense where we put them in 3rd down and long.
All right, there you go. Head coach Bill Sochoka. Big game this Friday night. Grays Creek Bears coming across the river. Going to see what they can do to see if they can stop this Trojan machine that's 3-0 this season. Harold K. Warren Stadium, 7 o'clock kickoff. Get there early because there's going to be a big crowd, isn't there? Yeah, we've got part of that crowd here. We're here at Peadens with the Pine Forest Coaches Show. Bill, thanks, man. We're going to take another break, come back. We got a couple of players coming up. I tried to get Jimmy Peeden Jr. here, but I've been told I have one Jimmy Peeden per show limit, and so Jimmy Peeden Jr. will not be on. We may have John Peeden here. But we're having a big time out at Peedens right here on MacArthur Road. Come over and see us. Again, it's the Pine Forest Coaches Show. We'll be right back. You're going to hold it down about right here. Powerful microphone there,
Hello.
All right, and we're back in the no, it's okay. I want to hear all this. As Coach Achoka's getting chastised over there on the way out. So thanks for Coach Achoka coming on here tonight. Again, we're out here at Peadens, the inaugural Pine Forest Trojans Coaches Show. Nate Graham has made his way to the set. Nate, welcome, man. Yeah, I got a fan club out here. Hashtag Nate is dangerous. Hashtag Nate is dangerous. So you had a big game against in the season opener against Purnell Sweat, sack, a fumble recovery, and you scored a touchdown, man. Tell us,
yeah.
you ever scored a touchdown before?
Yeah, I mean, I used to.
Well, I was an offensive lineman, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I never got to score. I almost scored once. Almost. But I was an offensive lineman.
But Purnell Sweat, we came out. It was Pine Sweat. We usually win them every year. We didn't get it rolling until probably the third quarter. We first half was pretty rough. We had some downfalls on offense. Defense was holding them, but I used to play both ways last year, so it came down to them putting me in on offense and asked me to run a route, and there it was.
Are you the fastest guy on the team?
I'm not the fastest. I'm one of them, though.
You're one of them. Who's faster than you? Matthew? Is Matthew faster than you?
Nah, we got some good, decent speed on the team. We got some pretty decent speed on the team. That's all. It's a lot of us. DB-wise, defense, all together is fast. Offense, we got a lot of running backs that are actually pretty quick on the ball. So, yeah.
What's the best thing about being a Pine Forest Trojan? Come on, that was an easy one, man. I thought you was softball.
I mean, it's a lot.
All right, then tell me two things. Then tell me two.
Whoa,
Then tell me
whoa,
two things. Yeah, there's
Okay,
a lot of them.
okay,
Well, tell me
okay.
two things.
I'm a senior, so that's a good thing. That's one of the good things. I made it, all the way to the 12th grade. You know what I'm saying? The second one, I gotta say, just being around the friends I grew up with. Like we've been around each other since God knows when, probably before 6th grade. Half of them I knew 6th grade before then. So yeah, actually coming up with some friends that you actually know and say having kids moving around different schools, stuff like that. It's a blessing, to be honest.
That's great. As you look going up against Grays Creek this week, what's your assignment? What do you have to do to make sure that you cover your assignment and to have everybody else's back?
I will be playing cornerback. They're gonna have one man out, probably most. That's what their defensive set is.
So do you get Trevor Thomas or T.J. McMillan?
TJ.
TJ?
Yeah.
He's got 2 touchdown passes, you know.
That's fine.
He's only caught 2 passes.
He's not gonna get no. I'm coming for you, TJ.
Just so you know, I got my stats right here.
Well,
2 passes, 2 touchdowns.
We'll see. Come out 7 o'clock. Andrews Road 525, $7 at the gate. Y'all come see a game. Harold K. Warren Stadium.
All right, man. Nate, thank you. We're going to get who's coming up next. We got Matthew coming up. Who's coming up next? You can set it down. As we continue here, hey, we got the T-shirt sale. As we're again a no-budget production. As you walk in front of the camera, Nate. Hashtag Nate is dangerous. We got the T-shirt sale due 9/12. Is that right? What's the due 9/12?
Due next Thursday.
So if you want a T-shirt, make your check payable to Pine Forest High School, yes. Or you can make it out to their favorite charity, which is Citizens Against Smog Harassment. And if that doesn't fit, just use our acronym CASH. I'll be more to. Wow, nobody got that. Nobody got the CASH. Wow. Make it out to cash. And then on September 21st at 5 o'clock, there's the Sipley Art at Pine Forest? What is Sipley? Is that misspelled or is that S-I-P-L? Sipley. Oh, Sipley. Okay, so that's going to be on the 21st at 5 o'clock. My wife is what? It's a Wednesday night. We'll be here. Oh, well, maybe we can do it from down there, but we'll have to get Jimmy's permission to be there. Not here. Maybe he could cater it. Has Jimmy ever catered before? Yeah, he's got a big truck. All right. Hey man, okay, I got a guest up here. We're going to go back to the show here. We're all the way off over there in left field on that rabbit hole. My wife is watching. Hey, honey. They didn't tell me who you were, but this is a no-budget production, I can assure you.
I'm Carson Cole.
Carson Cole, man, so you're the big linebacker he was talking about, a senior. You got 34 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and a fumble recovery. Is that about right? Or an interception? No?
That's Dominic.
Oh, that's Dominic. That's right.
I wish.
So, man, you guys have been playing lights out on defense, man. What's been the key from spring practice to summer 7-on-7s to fall camp to 3-0?
Everyone's been sticking to their assignments. That's what we play. Assignment defense, stick to your gap, stick to your assignment. And if everyone does it right, our defense works perfectly. So there's a few downsides to that, but we've figured out how to make it work.
Who's the toughest kid you've had to go up against and try to tackle so far on an opposing team?
On opposing team. I'm honest, that quarterback from Lumberton was a big guy, and he liked to move. So I remember every time trying to get those 4 sacks was not easily.
But you did well. You beat them 49-7.
Yes, sir. I can. Thank you, offense.
Yeah, he's taking credit over here. You can do that when you're 3-0. Looking at Grays Creek this week, they've got another 100-yard back working his way towards 1,000 yards. Leonard Beckett. Have you seen him on tape?
I have.
What makes him so elusive and able to hit that hole and be gone?
Good footwork. He likes to chop it up and just cut, and that's a thing for us. We got to be able to make sure that's where our assignments come in. If we fill every gap, there's nowhere for him to go.
All right, I'm not going to ask for a prediction because I don't want to get hit in the back of the head with a hush puppy here by Coach Sachoka. But Carson Cole, what time? Where are we playing this Friday? Tell everybody out there in TV land where we're playing.
Harold K. Warren Stadium, Pine Forest. Yeah. Oh, 525.
525 Andrews Road. So, hey, Carson Cole, Nate, thanks for coming on. Hashtag Carson is dangerous. So come on out and watch these Trojans play as they go up against Grays Creek Friday night, 7 o'clock, Harold K. Warren Stadium. Thanks, man. We're going to take one more break and then come back and wrap it up. Maybe we're going to pull somebody from the audience to come up here. Matthew's saying, I want to get up here. But, man, we're just having a big time out here. If you're not here, come on out next week. We'll be here every Wednesday, 7 o'clock at Peadens, 1600 MacArthur Road, so you don't want to miss it. Again, brought to you by New Again Carpet Cleaning, Pro Cable, and Bridgemark Inc. So I'm Billy Mack, and we'll be right back to wrap this shindig up here from Peadens. All right, as we're wrapping up the inaugural Pine Forest Coaches Show from Peadens, once again, thanks to New Again Carpet Cleaning. Jeff Houghton was here earlier. Doesn't matter what kind of surface you have, whether it's carpet, hardwood, linoleum, tile, they can do all things. Go to their website, because newagaincarpet.com. You can actually schedule your appointment online. So if you're home tonight and the dog's made a mess and you're wondering, what can I do? Go to newagaincarpet.com. You can actually schedule your appointment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to have them come over and take care of you. Voted one of the best carpet cleaners in Fayetteville. So go call Jeff. It's a family-owned business. He and his wife own it, so they are going to do you a great job at New Again Carpet Cleaning. So, hey, our guests tonight we had on Jimmy Peeden III, talked about the fundraiser that's coming up on the 10th of November right here at Peadens. There's a basketball team gets ready to take court on the 18th against Douglas Byrd. We talked to head coach Bill Sachoka about the team's 3-0 start and about the game coming up this Friday night at Harold K. Warren Stadium against the Grays Creek Bears. And then we've had two players over here. We had Nate is dangerous and Carson is dangerous. So next week we're going to have Matthew Sachoka. Sorry, Matthew, we're out of time. Your dad took up your time. I know, I hate that. Your dad took up all your time. But, man, this has been a blast. Has everybody here had fun? Yeah, we got a big crowd here. So next Wednesday, you need to be right here. 7. Come early. I mean, we're here set up. You can come early. We'll throw hush puppies at each other. We'll drink sweet tea. We'll have a big old time. We want you to come out, be a part of our show because it is live. We're having a great time. Come out to Peadens, see Jimmy, see Ricky, see John. Oh my. And we're just going to continue to talk about Pine Forest Athletics. We're going to raise some money for them. Again, we got the T-shirt sale coming up on 9/12. We got the Sipley Art at Pine Forest High School on Wednesday, the 21st. But either way, doesn't matter what you do. Friday night, 7 o'clock, you need to be in your seat, Harold K. Warren Stadium, for another Trojan victory. And that's going to wrap it up, folks. So from Peadens, I'm Billy Mack. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the replays. Share it with all your friends on Pack Power Media on YouTube. We're going to be here every Wednesday. Like us on Facebook. But you're going to get something here you're not going to get anywhere else. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.